1 in 5 suffer.
Erase the stigma.
Brain difference is not a crime.
Mental health isn't just your problem.
It's our problem.
And now, Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
Welcome to Mental Health Mondays.
We are Marla and Dave. I'm Marla.
That's right. And I'm Dave.
And I wanted to say thank you and start everybody off at the top of the year, refocusing us. Please, please, please join our fight to erase the stigma by texting GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 818-698-1021. $1 a day will help us keep the stigma of mental health away. Please join us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our guests today are friends of the show and friends indeed, Mark and Robbi Walberg. Mark, you know, from Temptation Island, The Moment of Truth, and much more. Robbi has been successful in the entertainment business ever since she literally was the Gerber Baby.
So cute.
A lot of times we say that facetiously, but this time it's absolutely true. They are a successful power couple, and we are honored to speak with them today as Valentine's Day approaches. How do they keep it going? How do they keep their emotional balance and their mental in that mental space the way it should be for their relationship? We're going to learn a lot. We're so glad to have them as our guests. When we come back, and Marla, you know what? Why don't you, before we actually break, why don't you tell us why we're not at the studio today?
Well, we're not at the studio today because, you know, part of our whole mantra in life is really being driven by love. And it was time for my dad to get his potion of love and care for me and Dave. So we are now caregiving for him in Las Vegas. And, you know, necessary, but, you know, an act of unconditional love for sure. So that's why. But we do, this is one of those ones that honestly hurts. I do feel split because I really want to enjoy Mark and Robbi in person. We've had them separately, but we haven't had them together. So we're going to have to have a third round.
We're going to work it out. When we come back, Mark and Robbi Walberg, don't move.
When Dave and Marla get together, it's hot.
Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave and NAMI San Fernando Valley believe it doesn't take much to make life a little better for our neighbors, coworkers, friends, our family members, even our children who suffer with mental illness. When you support our A Dollar Today Keeps the Stigma Away campaign, you are doing your part to erase the stigma surrounding mental illness. For just $1 today, or $1 a day for 1 week, just $7, we can look forward to a future that does not include the unfortunate and uncomfortable stares, bullying, and the subsequent isolation that our loved ones who suffer with brain differences deal with. Text the word GIVE, that's G-I-V-E, to 818-698-1021 to donate. $1 today keeps the stigma away. Brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave and NAMI San Fernando Valley.
All right, we are back as promised with our guests, Mark and Robbi Walberg. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
But by the way, I have to tell you, there's no better couple to be in the actual host chairs than the two of you.
Oh,
that's absolutely true.
You are. I mean, you're really Mark and Robbi, but right now you're Marla and Dave, and we're Marla and Dave. We're all just one big extension of.
I love that. I love sitting. I can feel your presence in this chair, Dave. So,
appreciate it.
Makes me want to sing a cappella, but it's not good for the world if I do that.
No, hey, a cappella is good for everyone, Mark. Yeah. Remember that.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, first of all, you've been guests separately. You've come in. We've had amazing discussions. You both have spoken so highly about each other. We are so blessed to have you guys in the studio together, especially as Valentine's Day approaches.
We haven't done this before. We haven't done a podcast together. I don't think we have we?
No, we haven't.
Wow.
But
I keep doing podcasts, and then Robbi keeps running behind me like Lucy on the Lucy and Ricky show.
No.
I'll be talking about something deep, and you'll see Robbi tap dance behind my head.
That is not true.
I love that.
You know, Mark, that what's common for that chair is that people in that chair often get slapped. Careful.
It won't be the first time. It won't be the first time.
Oh,
Trust me, it's not so comfortable. But you know what? You guys speak so openly and transparently about your relationship. And also, as you were spoken with one of our producers, Hannah, explain to me how and why mental health has been a main and a shared principle in your relationship, and how that's a factor and a major factor in your relationship, and why that matters.
Oh, baby, you want to start, or should I?
I'm
That's
giving
a big
you.
one.
I'm giving
Hey,
you
we're jumping
space.
right in, both
Okay,
feet.
okay.
Because I have an
So-
answer, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Why don't you answer, because you're so articulate and you get to the point, and I kind of go back to the beginning.
Okay, so here's why. When we were talking about this earlier, what I felt about mental health in relationship, when you're both mentally healthy. First of all, mental health
Is everything.
It's fluid. It's fluid, different levels. It's not like you're healthy and sane and then you're not. It's all different colors.
Yeah.
And when you're both feeling mentally healthy, relationships are a breeze. That's easy. You're feeling good about you. I'm feeling good about me. We're in love. It's when you're one or the other isn't feeling well that you have to remember, that we have to remember that it's not about the other person. In other words, when I'm flipping out on her, she's wise enough to know it's my own shit, not hers.
Right.
And that's where we can be kind of for each other, catalyst and cause to get back to our centered, healthier mentality.
Right, but that's not the way our relationship started. Because when we first met, I was on the road. I was a year and a half clean and sober, and I was absolutely on a roller coaster ride. I was absolutely crazy. And working on it, but it was really you, honey, that saved me and helped me in those early years when we were so young.
That's true, but there have been times since then when I've had a rough period, and so believe me, whatever I paid forward, I got my money's worth later. So
Absolutely.
I guess what I'm saying in relationship to work with, as it relates to mental health, is that you have to give space for people to be off center, and you have to not take personally when they're having a moment, even if it's directed at you. You did this, you did that, you did that, you did that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you had to say, I love you, and I hear you, this is going to pass. And then you have to, like that Four Agreements book you made me read, but I didn't read, so I just wait for you to quote.
Absolutely. It's the chapter.
Don't take it personally.
The chapter on don't take it personally. Don't take anything personally. Don't take the good personally. Don't take the bad personally.
By the way,
because it's never.
So look at the finger.
Yes.
No,
There's
I
the
just
finger.
want to ask a quick question for our audience. The question for the audience is, how long have you guys been married?
Well, we met in 1985.
We've been married 35 years.
And we got married in 1987, so 35 years. But I would have married him instantly. The night I met him, I would have just married him.
So you just knew.
I had it like that back then.
You know what? I did just know.
Pop that collar.
I had it like that.
I would have, it was just, some enchanted evening. I knew, that, oh my God, there he is. I just had to go out on a date with him just to make sure that he wasn't a jerk, It's just, I could feel who he was the moment I met him, And I wasn't looking to meet anybody that night. I didn't even want to go that night when I met him. So,
Hollywood love stories are very interesting because I almost look at it, Dave and I are right behind you guys, and I look at it almost like dog years.
Guys
like
got us by a year.
One year is like 7 years in dog years, right? So Hollywood is so, you use the word fluid. There's so many dynamic things that happen and interactions that it seems to be that you guys, us as well, we're on a very small number of actual marriages or relationships that maintain and last, that love lasts.
I have a theory about that.
Okay, what is it?
The theory is that when Robbi and I met and started dating, neither one of us had a pot to piss in. So don't even wait a minute.
Okay.
Hold on. You had a fork. and a
true.
plate.
That's true.
So when I say that metaphor, you didn't have a pot to piss in, you literally didn't.
That's true.
My
That is
point
true.
and I didn't have much more. The point is, everything in our relationship as kids, as we got together, everything from that point forward was a we. And what happens is people kind of grow up and try to. I always hear people say they got to get their shit together before they get in a relationship, and I say get in a relationship and then get your shit together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got everything together. So later on in life, I had a talk show. We've had different successes. In those moments, there were people that were, would want this, and I would have been, the show gets canceled and they would have left. What I could always go back to is that Robbi met me with nothing. She's in love with me, not what I do. And same. And so that's how we can kind of weather broke and rich, either way.
I love that. We have a very similar story, except for the fact that I didn't really have the pot to piss in, but Marla actually lived in a pot factory. So because her dad was a professional baseball player, so pots weren't an issue for her and her family. But we met in second grade, and so we had a friendship that had matured over the years. And by the time we actually started dating seriously, we were not just romantically linked, we were also best friends. So I mean, that bond is really been the thing, and we tell everybody that's what really is the anchor of our relationship. But I want to go back to something that you said earlier, Mark, because what you sound like you were really speaking about is not just a mental health from a general, as we usually think about it, which is synonymous with mental illness. What you were really speaking about is mental wellness, and that's wellness. Where you are when your gas tank is either full or when your gas tank is running a little low. All little things that used to be able to handle in the weather suddenly start to get on your nerves a little bit more, and it's that low time. And Marla and I have a relationship equation, so to speak, and that is we always give 100%. Now, some days my 100% might have been worn out down to 15%, and so her 100% has to be what carries us,
or 185,
or vice versa. So as long as everybody's able to give 100%. Somewhere in there, you'll be able to squeeze out 100 plus. So that's really what our relationship mathematics kind of equals out to be.
I get that. That's an interesting way of saying it, and I can relate to that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't, and sometimes she has it, and sometimes she doesn't. But hopefully, we both aren't in a cycle where we don't have it at the same time.
Well, listen, we're going to continue this conversation, which is amazing, with Mark and Robbi. We can't wait to get some more nuggets on lasting love and mental balance in a relationship. Don't move. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
It's time for the Mental Health Minute with Marla and Dave.
All right. I think we might be having some technical difficulties. I believe that we're supposed to be going to the Mental Health Minute.
Yep.
All right. So oftentimes we focus on problem areas when we talk about mental health. Today, we're going to focus on ways to improve your mental health or your overall psychological well-being. Here are some activities that can help.
Get plenty of sleep. Adults should get close to 8 hours of sleep per night as they can. Although every individual's body differs, sleep is essential for learning and improving daily productivity. Stop to enjoy small aspects of the day. Enjoying the small things may seem cliche, but it's important to personal contentment. Try to take a walk on your break or work to appreciate the beauty in nature. Use a stress ball, here's another, or some other stress reliever. The way that we handle stress directly affects our health. A common method to deal with stress is a stress ball. Just squeeze the frustration away.
Perform a random act of kindness. Helping others, volunteering, or simply doing one random act of kindness can improve self-esteem. Self-esteem improves mental wellness in a variety of ways, including self-empowering sense of social connectivity. Exercise. Exercise contributes to cardiovascular health. Improved cardiovascular health leads to better emotional stability and reduced anxiety.
Try adding these activities to your daily routine. Keep a mental wellness journal and start tracking your improvement.
Brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
David is a thinker.
I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically live my personality on my scene.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker.
Okay, we're back. This conversation is so exciting and important for so many reasons. You know, we tend to think of mental wellness on a singular plane and not as dynamic as a duo. And there's nobody better, honestly, to help us through this conversation, or really just to share, than Mark and Robbi, who have been together. They've been married for 35 years. Hollywood is their life, but it is not, love is their business. And I'm going to really just say it that way because it's true. I mean, what you brought up. So continue to share with us your perspective of staying balanced inside the relationship. Because I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to ask a question, Robbi.
Yes.
This is to you. We've interviewed you both, which Dave and I had a fabulous time with each individually. Would you say that Mark naturally is an extrovert or an introvert?
You know, it's such an interesting thing because from the outside looking in, everybody would say that he's an extrovert, but he's not.
That's why I asked you, because you know him best.
Right. He's absolutely not. I mean, so he's definitely an introvert extrovert. Is that how you would say it? I mean, when he's on stage, you know, he is, you know, for him being on stage is very comfortable, you know, talking to audiences. So extrovert there. But in life, you're really an introvert, baby, aren't you?
I feel
I
feel touched that you see that. I feel like you see me when you said that because you're right. Most people think of me as an extrovert, and the truth is, when the show's over, there are two types of performers. There's the people who do the show and then wear their costume out in the casino so people see them. And I'm going to put on a hat and sit in the back, and hopefully nobody sees me.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
But I have to kind of let you in, you know, on this. And sorry, baby, but I'm going to tell on you. That comes from his childhood with his mom telling him to sit in the back and keep his mouth shut, and that you're not special. You know, that's where that comes from. And then he meets me, and I'm like, you.
No, you're the Shazam.
Oh, baby, you.
Yo, when we've met, our first date was a day date, just kind of meet up, and she just come from an audition. And I'm like, I've got a certain vibe of how I like to roll, and she comes in, and literally as we're walking from where we met to the restaurant where we're going to go have a little drink or coffee or whatever, she's telling me a story, walking backwards with her hands on my shoulders like this. And I'm like, you got to turn everything down.
Wait. We're getting off. Did
you just
off
wait
the track.
me? This is the track.
Yeah.
This is the track.
But no, listen, we come from two different backgrounds, okay? My mom, and, you know, I was working as a kid, you know, and I was everything. You know, you're specialer than the kids in school. Like
You're a Gerber baby.
She told my teacher, she says, you know, Robbie's very special, you know, where the teacher was like, oh, all of the children are special. My mom said, oh,
right.
no,
Not
like Robbie. And so you bring me to someone like Mark, who he was not raised that way.
And it showed up in places like this. We go out to a Moroccan restaurant, right, with her family. We're newly dating. And they're all wearing Moroccan costumes. I'm like, look, I know. I'm like, where I come from, we just go eat that food. Like when we go to Chinese food, I don't wear Chinese clothes. We go to Mexican food, I'm not putting on a sombrero.
Baby.
We don't have to wear a costume to go to a restaurant. And she was like,
let me just cut to the chase.
I don't dress up in a
He said to me, honey, why are we wearing costumes to go to dinner?
And that sums it up.
Basic.
And I had to teach, and over the years, we both deprogrammed or reprogrammed each other. Where I kind of got to accept a little bit of what her vibe is, and she got to see what I hate to use the phrase normal, but what like she was raised like in the Addams family. Like this is.
You know what? Your term is basic, Mark. It's
Yeah.
basic. We're not going to say normal.
Yeah.
You basic.
Right. Like basic. Like we could go to a show and not dress like the people in the show.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny about that is, as Robbi's family, she grew up in show business. Her family was in show business, and
Right.
sort of being on, it's not just turning on for the cameras. That is the life that they led. I can only imagine that. So my grandfather was the exact same way. Now, he was a pastor, but he was a pastor whether he was at home, he was a pastor whether he was in the street. He met everybody on the street, shook their hands, and just had at least a 15-minute conversation. Matter of fact, going around with my grandfather, if it took you 15 minutes to go from one place to the other, for him it took 2 hours because he had to talk to everybody on the way. I mean, it was literally like, please, can we just do what we have to do? But for some people, that is their natural personality. And that's how Marla and I sort of describe the difference between an extrovert and an introvert. Because while I'm a musician, I'm an entertainer, I'm on stage all the time, I actually recharge and I get myself back together when I'm by myself or when I'm just with my family.
Absolutely.
For her to recharge and energize, she has to actually be amongst other people and just get energy from them and exchange energy, and that slowly refuels her battery, so to speak,
wait,
as
Mark,
well. So that's sort of how we are as well.
But Dave, I have totally, through all of the work that I've done through the program and through therapy over the years, I have really changed, and Mark has helped me, realize.
On balance.
Yeah.
But I got to let you know that there's two sides of that coin, too, because she's helped me, too.
Absolutely.
Because the other side of that coin is the introvert in me. It's not that what she's doing is nuts. It's also that the attention makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's my insecurity. Like when we're out in the crowd and we're the crowd making all the noise, that makes me uncomfortable because I'm overly sensitive to how it's affecting everybody around me based on how I was raised. So I had to kind of go, wait a minute. Like Robbi taught me and Robbi's brother taught me, you can quit that job. It's not your job to manage how they feel. That those people out there can be, nervous around you or excited around you or whatever. You don't have to manage that. So I went through a long time when I'd hang out with Robbi and her family, and we go to an event, and they're dressed like,
whatever
show,
the event is.
that I would be uncomfortable. And then as I became more known on camera, it was worse. Because when I go out in public, I'm not because
you're expected to be the center of attention.
Right.
It's not only that. They like to get their picture taken. They like to have people see them, and I'm trying not to be seen necessarily.
And at first, that was so hard for me to understand. But I got it.
Right.
But I totally got it. And that was a big adjustment early on that I had to accept and understand where he was coming from.
And now you kind of appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I get by listening to the two of you together, which is so rare, and it's the one thing I think most of us in life crave for, all humans. You two really see each other. You really do. You truly see each other. So to really see someone, to me.
That's because sometimes we're in the house and there's nobody else to look at.
So you learn to see.
That's it.
So you know what? This conversation, first of all, it could go on forever. I really love what you guys are saying. The interesting thing is that it mirrors our relationship in so many ways. I guess the best thing to say about that is that it mirrors a successful relationship, no matter who it is. And we're going to come back in just a few minutes from this next break.
Advice.
Okay.
And we're going to keep going with this conversation. We'll be right back. All right, that music, even though Marlon can't actually hear it that well,
Robbi can
I
dance.
can feel that the music is going. Marlon, actually get it going a little bit. I see the little shoulders moving.
Listen,
I like it.
Robbi was a dancer. I'm put Robbi in my seat. She can feel
That's
this
true.
vibe.
5, 6, 7, 8.
And I am still a dancer. I could just get right up here and dance to this music.
Marla, what was our poll question last week?
All right, I need the Walbergs to listen up to this. Last week, we asked what percentage of all Americans will meet the criteria for a diagnosable mental health condition at some point in their lifetime. Mm-hmm. Is that 27%, 46%, or 62%?
How many people will meet that criteria? Not necessarily know that they meet that criteria, but actually would be.
Absolutely, we'll meet that criteria. 27, 46, or 62?
I have to go with 46.
62. More people than not.
So first of all, I'm not sure that the person, our guest last week, I don't think
they guessed 27.
Really?
They guessed 27. But I will tell you this: one of you got it correct.
Who is it?
Come on.
Which one of the Wahlbergs actually?
I'm a game show host. You know I got this right.
He's always right. Was it him?
You know I got it right.
Was it him?
Well, you know what, Robbie?
Yes.
Tonight you sit in my seat, and I'm always right, and Dave is always wrong. So tonight is you, baby girl.
Oh,
it's you, baby girl.
baby! Oh.
I don't know about that logic, but it just happens to be true.
Well, oh boy, he's never going to live this one down.
All right, so wait a minute, Mark. Mark, you get one more chance.
All right.
What is the average? This is our poll question for next week.
Okay.
What is the average delay between the onset of mental illness symptoms and actual going to get treatment? What is the average delay between the onset of a mental illness symptom and actually going to get treatment? Your options are 1.5 years, 1.5 years, 5 years, or 11 years. When you first start to see some kind of symptom, and then you finally, the average person goes to finally seek some help.
It's at least 5 years.
I was going to say 11.
It's at least 5.
Okay, well, I will tell you again. You might want to confer because one of you is correct again.
11.
Ding, 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 ding.
11.
Ding,
I'm gonna. No,
I'm living
isn't.
with a guy.
You're right. 11.
I am living with a guy.
No.
Oh.
You're right. I'll just go with 11.
Well, I have a feeling there's hope for you guys, but we can't reveal the answer until next week.
We'll
so
have to
I want
listen.
you guys to make sure you check it out.
Yeah.
Everyone check out and make sure you listen for the answer next week on Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave. We'll be right back.
Sometimes 25.
And we are back just that quickly.
Okay, so we have to end this on a love note. And again, we got Mark and Robbie together. What if I ask you guys, what does Valentine's Day mean? What is that? Does that have any? Can you share your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Any meaning?
Okay,
All right,
baby.
go ahead,
You want to go
Mark.
first?
You go first.
All right. I think it's a setup. I think Valentine's Day is a setup. For those of us in relationship and it's all good, it's great and fun, and even for us, it's pressure, same as Christmas or whatever.
Pressure.
But what my problem with Valentine's Day is, if you're not in a relationship, what Valentine's Day has come to mean to others, what it has come to mean in a negative sense to others. I'm not worthy of love. What am I going to do? I don't have a Valentine. And it's a made-up holiday. And as much as we can enjoy the love of it, the fact that so many people have sadness or triggers or problems behind that day, I could be done with it. Plus, I never know what to get.
Well,
yes, and Robbie?
I agree 100%, and I really, really want to take this opportunity to thank you for being my Valentine and for giving me giving me the gold of your heart for all these years. And so I really
no one's ever actually had sex on Mental Health Monday, even though it could be a healthy thing.
But I do want to say that
it's a family show, and that's how you make a family.
Absolutely. There you go.
I agree.
It's expanding.
I agree with what Mark said, that it is a setup. But we've been talking about this. Valentine's Day is an opportunity, just another opportunity to let the people in your life know how much you love them, whether you have a Valentine or not. And mostly, I really want to bring this up, that the one that we forget the most is ourselves.
Wow.
We really do. Because we go to the negative, I don't look so good today, my hair doesn't look good, I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm this, I'm that. We really forget to love ourselves, because once we do that, only then
so what you're
can
saying
we
is,
show someone else how much
you're
we
saying
love them.
Be your own Valentine.
Well, first, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
But I'm sure glad you're
Good.
mine.
So buy yourself some flowers and let me know how it goes.
But you know what, Mark? I'm so glad you brought up the concept of pressure. I don't know if it's equal pressure on men and women, but I know for us guys, matter of fact, Marla put so much pressure on me at the beginning of our relationship. Because I'm glad you said I usually don't know what to get. Marla said, you know what? I don't like candy and I don't like flowers. So that was the easy stuff was completely off the table immediately.
Now you got to go somewhere other than Rite Aid.
Let me explain myself. It's similar to what you guys were saying. I just felt like it's cliche. And it doesn't have to be expensive. So I want you to if you're thinking about me, new socks. I'm athletic. I love some new socks. It's something that just says, I see you.
Yes.
And at the same time,
token.
And at the same time, on the receiving end of that, and I hate to make it gender specific, but generally it's been the guy doing for the woman in a heterosexual relationship, right?
Yeah.
And the other side is receiving it is the expectation of it having to be jewelry and this and that, the pressure. But really what bothers me the most is those people who don't have a Valentine per se.
Yeah.
And the thought that this made up holiday makes people feel empty sometimes.
And lonely.
Yeah.
And lonely. What am I
agree
gonna
with that.
And so that's just not, I
so
can't be down
lonely.
for that, right? That just.
Well, I'm actually going to take a positive from what you guys were saying and put what you were both saying together and sum it up in what Mark actually, how you summed up Robbi's statement is you need to be your own Valentine. And that says so much, because when you are completely satisfied and you are at a very balanced place and you feel good about yourself, it really doesn't take much. It really you just want to be with the person that you love. And if both people in the relationship are feeling that way, you know what? You don't need anything. So everything you get is a bonus.
And so we have to go out with the Walbergs telling us, what is your key to making love last?
Oh, wow.
What would you share? What advice would you give?
Information. Well, for me is
Gotta go quick.
I love Mark, and I don't want to learn the lessons that are coming our way with anyone else. So I want to learn. I want to be with him.
My key to long-lasting relationship: tolerance, forgiveness, short memory.
Short memory. I love that. I love that too.
Don't grind on a grudge. We're all gonna bang it out and get upset, and then you got to remember that this is the person you love, and it's just not worth holding it, and the right and wrongness of it just is not worth the effort. That game is not worth playing.
Well, thank you
we
guys
love and appreciate
for being
you
friends of ours at this point, and also of Mental Health Mondays. It will not be the last time, and next time we have to make this an in-studio thing, and then dinner date afterwards.
Sounds good. We're going to dinner right now.
We're in.
That's what I
We'd
did.
love to.
This was my Valentine's Day move, was to do dinner tonight because everybody's got the reservation tomorrow.
So
We
love you guys.
Literally.
We love you both.
Love you guys too.
Mwah.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Raw, real, and unfiltered.
Awesome.